All right, on this week's episode of Real Time with Alex, we have Mandy Maree. Mandy Maree is here to make a global impact. For her, pursuing her purpose is a journey of pursuing her heart. She feels she has been misunderstood her entire life, especially when she tells people her passion for serving and helping others is not what she does, it's who she is. It's within her and has been since she was a little girl. It began with volunteering with the homeless to building a library in Tanzania and running charity events to support non-for-profit organizations. She is now aspiring to build a youth hub to support and empower young kids through creative expression. All she knows is that her purpose is much bigger than her and more about, all she knows is that her purpose is much bigger than her and more about how she impacts the lives of others on a daily basis. So welcome to the show, Mandy Maree. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for accepting the podium and taking the spotlight on this one. I'm super, super excited.
I'm excited
So
as well.
let's give everyone a bit of background. Let's start from the beginning. You as a little girl, your little girl, what was that? Tell the story of that and who you were growing up and potentially how you were misunderstood. And yeah, I'm really curious.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. So I actually was talking to my mum about this the other day about how when I was a young girl, I would just make friends anywhere. So like we'd go shopping, grocery shopping, and mum would lose me and I'd be down an aisle talking to some other little girl or other little boy. And, I really loved school. I just loved making friends. And yeah, just helping other people was just something that I love to do on a daily, and being at my neighbor's place, helping them like clean the backyard. Like I was just always out doing something with other people. And yeah, it sort of fed into my teenage life as well. But I felt that was sort of when I started to get misunderstood. And, I think we all can relate that our teenage life can be challenging at the best of times.
Yeah. Yep.
And I definitely had quite a challenging teenage years, but there was just always this part of me that still wanted to help people, and it just grew and grew. And I was like always asking myself the question, how can I help people globally? How can I be involved in different charities? And yeah, I just used to Google different non-for-profits. And, as soon as I basically got to university, I was like, I'm going to work for non-for-profits. And that's sort of when the volunteering with the homeless came along. So that opportunity was amazing. But yeah, it's sort of just always been something within me. And, conversations I have with different people, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah. I am not a fan of that question either, but yeah.
No, I'm not a fan either. And like, I just feel like it's not about what I do. It's just how I, like I said in my bio, impact other people on a daily. And yeah, I'm just always eager to learn and just be involved in different projects and learn about different cultures. And yeah, it's just been such an incredible journey so far. So, but yeah, mum would always say I would be the one making friends everywhere and just wanting to help. So
amazing.
So yeah.
So from there, leading into, I mean, eventually you built a school in Africa or a library, or was it a mixture of both? Or
school library? Yeah. So that was last
library.
year.
Wow. So what was the gap? Like tell everyone the gap between that little girl and building a school in Africa. Like what was in between there?
Well, I always had the dream of going to Africa when I was younger. And I, watching movies and different documentaries about it. I was like, I'm going to go one day. And so I was actually living in Canada, and at the time, great country. And I came across this opportunity to volunteer with a charity called EPIC. And EPIC stands for Everyday People Initiating Change. And I'd always wanted to volunteer with this particular charity, and they drill clean water wells in Tanzania. But I just loved that, because I know there's a lot of non-for-profits out there, but what I particularly loved about this one was that they create relationships within the villages and with the locals. So it's more of a longer process, and they've been around for 12 years, but they have these incredible relationships with the children and with the villagers. And it's like a partnership with them. It's not just about going in and drilling clean water well and then leaving. It's like an ongoing project. So yeah, really loved the intention behind it. And I was like, I'm going to go. So I went and volunteered with them, and my first year, and that was in 2018. Yeah, 2018. And when I was there, I visited this village called Lupalama, and I just fell in love with them. Like the children, I just could be there all day playing. My little child just had a ball.
Yeah.
And so when I was there, the headmaster of the school was telling me about this dream that they had to build a library, and he showed me the space, and it was like completely run down. I was like, it looks like it's going to fall apart pretty much.
Yeah.
And he was just telling me how he wanted to be able to bring all these resources to these kids and empower them. And I literally in that moment was like, wow, there's a reason that I'm here, because it just lit my heart up straight away. And so I basically went away, and for I left and came back, and I was like, I'm going to build the library. I'm going to raise money and I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And that's been a journey in itself, because there's been so many different elements that have brought it all together. But it was that initial, like, I'm going to do it and no one's going to stop me. And I believe in myself. And yeah, it sort of just all unfolded from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was last year.
That is so crazy. So what was your, I'm just curious. And I know people are probably listening, like how, what's even the first step to building something in Africa? So personally, I want to know, and I feel like if I want to know, then more people want to know. So just describe that process.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, the first thing I did was I didn't actually know. I was like, where do I start? And I thought, okay, well, a lot of people do GoFundMe pages. So I created a GoFundMe page, and then firstly, I approached Epic the charity, and I said I'd really love to do this project, and made sure that they were all cool with me collaborating with them. So that was really awesome that they gave that opportunity to me. And so created the GoFundMe page, and then I just started talking about it on my social media, on my Facebook, and people were like, what are you doing?
Incredible.
And they just wanted to get behind it. And, and then all of a sudden I had two really good friends of mine, Abby and Jared, who are in the coaching business, an entrepreneur, and they called me and they're like, we want to help you do this. And so from that conversation, we birthed a new movement called Together We Rise. And it was all about a new paradigm of leadership, people coming together to do things together and not alone. And so then we created an event in Australia called Together We Rise, and 160 people came. All the ticket proceeds went to the library project. We had cacao, we had dance, we had guest speakers, we had music. It was literally one big party, and it was all going to this project. And I got to share my mission on my heart, and it was the first time I'd ever spoken in front of 160 people on stage, so I was like completely shitting myself. But it was just incredible to see all these people come together and realizing that we're all here for the same reason, and that's to serve humanity. And they all got to be a part of this. So that was a huge chunk of my journey. And we raised, so from the GoFundMe page to the event and little kind of fundraisers in between, we raised $26,000. And and then I took 4 of my good friends over with me to Tanzania, into the community called Iringa, and then we started to build the library. And I'm just, my heart is just so there, and I'm just so passionate about these kids and, empowering them. And it's not about bringing our Western modalities over there. It's just about empowering these kids to be whatever they want to be. And just books have been a big part of my journey, and just love to give that to them. So it's an ongoing project, I must add.
I would imagine.
I was meant to be going back this year, but obviously with everything happening in the world, that's not happening. So next year.
Wow. I was just gone on a journey there for a second. I want to know, like, what was your like your biggest, I don't even want to say biggest takeaway, but what was like breakthrough, or for lack of a better word, like you going there for the first time? What was like the wow moment? Like, what was that moment for you, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So Actually, the construction of the library started before I got there. So I was like sending money over to my team leader, who's from Africa, Kisinda, and he was coordinating all of that. And so it actually had already started. And then when I got to the village and saw the library for the first time, I completely broke down. I almost walked past it, like I was just wanting to go. And I'm like, oh, that's right. And I just completely froze and had a full breakdown, and the community were all surrounding me. It was really beautiful. And in that moment, I realized that I couldn't have done it without the people that chose to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really spoke like about this all the time, like the people that contributed to my GoFundMe page and the people to share my video, the people that came to the event, like every single person, and it didn't matter what value they contributed, it all went towards this project. And it also just made me realize that, you know, collaboration and community is key, and we don't have to do it alone. And, you know, people are so willing to be involved in these types of projects if they can see where their money's going.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest takeaway for me. And when I say community, I mean community in Africa as well. So it's like the whole community came together to build this library. And you know, the children got involved. We were moving buckets of bricks and dirt all together and singing. Yeah, it was just, the community piece is just so key. And, you know, at the end of the day, all I did was initiate it, and it's like, I'm going to do this. And then all these people came behind me, like, we're going to back you. So it's pretty beautiful.
That's so incredible. So where do I go from here? That was just, so for anyone who's listening or watching, you can just feel I don't even know the word to describe you right now, but you can just feel the love, the passion, the excitement, the little girl, the mission. It's so beautiful to see. And for anyone who's watching or listening, Mandy and I literally just met like a week ago. So this is like us getting to know each other, but like me asking her questions to really share her gifts with you guys. So it's like a double kill in that sense. So talk to me about your perspective on volunteering. A lot of people, for myself, I volunteered, not nearly as much as you, but I volunteered in my life. And contribution is definitely going to be a focus of mine. It is now, but it's going to be a primary focus real soon. So tell me about your perspective on volunteering and how, what it might have been in the past and how it transformed.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I honestly have this conversation a lot with different people. A lot of people reach out to me and like, where do I begin? And, you know, because I feel like that, you know, that want to help people and serve people within all of us. It just looks different. And, you know, people sort of don't know where to begin. And that was me too. And, you know, I would donate money to different charities, but the one piece that I felt was missing is that I couldn't see where my money was going.
Right.
And I feel like that's a very similar for a lot of us. And so you know, the question that I ask people is just what is it that they want to do? Like, how do they want to serve? Because there's so many needs in the world right now. You know, we could volunteer with the homeless or animal shelters or education in Africa. And once you know, find that, and even if you don't, just start somewhere, start small. And, you know, when I tell people just to research different charities, just look at where your money's going, ask those questions. And I feel like the on-ground experiences are the best because you have this different perspective on how you've contributed and how you've given back. But I also know that not everyone can have that experience. So just being a part of different charities that do value your contribution and do show you where it's going. And I think that is the piece. And I feel like a lot more charities are moving into that and finding different like models that suit that kind of need. But yeah, there's still a lot of charities out there that don't use your money in the right way, and that's just life. But so for example, like I volunteered with the homeless charity called Orange Sky Laundry. They're actually almost globally now, and it's a mobile laundry service. And basically it just started with these two guys who built this van and put two washing machines and two dryers in it, and would just go around Brisbane, and because Brisbane's got quite a large homeless population, and would just offer to wash their clothes.
Wow.
And I thought that was just such a cool idea and like a need, right? And it's so simple. And I was like, I want to be a part of that, because it's not just about, contributing my time, and I want to have conversations with these people and hear their stories and how they've lived their life. And I learned so much from them and the community in Africa than I've actually given. And I feel like it's a receiving element of volunteering. It's not just about giving. It's the two.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
I am bowing to you if you're watching this on YouTube. Like, really, that is so incredible. So, okay, so you briefly touched on Together We Rise. I'll come back to that in a second. So talk to me about creating more as a tribe, because I feel like a lot of people out there, they want to lone wolf it. They want to start a business and they want to do their thing. They want to do it alone. For me, like it depends on, I guess, who you are. But for me, at least, I love being around people. I love working as a team, collaborating on one mission, celebrating together, failing together, going through challenges together. So talk to me about your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think community is such, like I said, community is key. I've actually heard a lot more people say community is the new currency, which I thought that was really cool.
Ooh, writing that down.
Yeah, write that down. For me, I've only just sort of found my community probably in the last 2 years. And I was very much the lone wolf, like, how do I do this on my own? And, I think a little bit of my ego was there too, wanting to, be the face of something. But what I realized is that when you actually find people that are on the same path as you, maybe pursuing different purposes, but the intention's the same, you have that ability to create more of an impact in the world. And, that's why I want to create a global impact, and I can't do that alone.
Yeah.
And, not everyone has agreed with my journey either. And I think that's a piece to communities, that when you do start to step out of your comfort zone and start speaking your truth and what is on your heart and what you want to create in the world, not everyone's going to agree with you. And I actually think that's a blessing, because I also don't want to be in a community with people that don't believe in what I'm doing. I would prefer to be in a community where we're cheering everyone on. And that's what I have literally created for myself right now. And I'm always wanting to support my friends that are building non-for-profits or have projects on their heart. I'm like, yes, like, how can we do this? How can we all come together? And then you start to realize that everyone has their own gifts and everyone has something that they can give. And we just wanted to create an event on the Gold Coast, and it's like, okay, cool. I've got a friend that does cacao ceremonies. I've got a friend that runs ecstatic dance. I've got myself that loves to speak about charity and community underwater. Like, we can create an epic event, but I can't do all that alone. Or maybe I could, but it wouldn't be as cool.
I mean, yes, that was a test, I think. No, I'm kidding.
That was a test. But it just wouldn't, it's not as fun. Like, for me, it's not as fun. I would much prefer to do these types of projects with a bunch of epic humans that are all about giving back and serving others.
Yeah.
And the ripple effect from that is much larger. And people are attracted to it. They're like, I've had so many people reach out to me since the library project, and they're like, I don't know what you're doing or like what community you're involved in, but how can I be a part of it? And just like, it's a whole Together We Rise. I just feel like it's all in the name. It's not about me just going out and doing this on my own. I much prefer people to come along for the journey.
100%. Fuck yes. Hell yeah. So, all right. So, and sorry, I'm not sorry. Hold on. Anybody listening, I swear, if I feel it in the moment, I'm just living my truth, which leads me into my next question or statement or topic. So the reason I want to balance this podcast equally between men and women, because women are fucking goddesses and they are powerful as hell, and men cannot live without them. Prove me wrong. And it goes the other way around. So talk to me about living your truth and being real and speaking your truth in the moment. What is your
I've had such a journey with this. Speaking my truth. So, like I said, probably been on this sort of journey of speaking my truth maybe for 2 years. Like, I was really, what's the word I'd say? Like, everything was kind of behind closed doors for me. And a lot of that was sort of my mental health journey as well. But starting to speak my truth, from the library project, I had a lot of people reach out to me saying, I don't agree with what you're doing. Like, how do I know where your money's going? Blah, 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 blah. And what I realized is that speaking my truth, not everyone's going to agree with that. And also it takes a lot of courage to continue to pursue your purpose or pursue your heart or your passions, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel that when you do find your community and when you do have people that are supporting you, speaking your truth becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
And from my experience anyway, it's become, when people have come to me and not agree with what I'm saying, I actually just have more love and compassion for them because they're on their own journey.
Can you repeat
Whereas
that again? That was so key.
So I have more love and compassion for the people that don't particularly agree with me. And because I've been there and I've seen people, you know, thrive and, you know, killing their goals. And I'm like, why can't I be doing that? Like, how do I get there? And it, for me, it didn't come from a place of like, screw you guys. It came from a place of like, there's something that they have that I don't have. And when I started to unlock what it was that I'm here to do on this earth, and my passion literally is just helping other people, and I do that in various different ways, you start to see that people are attracted to that as well, and you start to give people permission to do whatever it is that's on your heart, you know. And we don't need more of me in the world, we need more of you. And because you know, for example, we don't need more of me, we need more of you.
Boom. Amazing.
And, you know, you as well, like, you have an audience, right? And your message and your purpose comes through you and is delivered through you. And the people that receive it would not receive it the same way that I say it. So we actually need everyone on this earth to speak their truth more. And just let go of that need of things having to look a certain way, because I used to be in my head, everything needs to look perfect, or did I say that right? And now I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
Love it.
So yeah, the thing I would just say to people is just, you know, start pushing the boundaries a little bit, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone. And it takes a bit of a journey, and just know that people are supporting you and people are loving on you, and you may not see it in the moment, but there are people that are inspired by you stepping out of that. And I've had more people reach out to me probably in the last week saying, I really love how you're just being who you are on social media and in person. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's been my journey anyway.
Yes. So I gotta acknowledge you for a second here. All right. So anybody listening, I was doing a breathwork course, for lack of a better word, called Together We Breathe. And this is how Mandy and I met. She posted a live video within the container, within the group. And she mentioned that during one of the breath works, I believe you said a microphone, you visualized a microphone. And I'm like, instantly in that moment, I was like called to invite her onto the podcast. So that was number one. That was super fucking awesome. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. Number two is I'm now following her on social media as of recently. And I'm just going to acknowledge and honor her for not giving a fuck. She's like, yeah, well, today I'm going to sing. And she just doesn't care. She's like, yeah, someone told me to sing, so I'm going to sing, or something like that. I don't know exactly the story behind that. And she's dancing on social media. Like this girl is living and breathing her truth. And I know I've only known you for a couple weeks now, but like, full credit, full acknowledgement to you, because that's scary as fuck for a lot of people, including myself. Like, for example, I don't know, on this podcast, yeah, sometimes in the beginning it's a bit nervous, whatever. But like, doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's not natural if you're very new at it, especially if it's singing to thousands or hundreds of people on social media, or dancing, expressing yourself fully, your full vulnerable self on social media. It's not an easy task. So wherever you are in the world, give her massive fucking props and send her all the celebrating energy. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, all right. Did anything come up when I said that?
Yeah, it did. So I just want to mention, like, the singing thing was totally out of my comfort zone. And the little bit of backstory behind that was I was invited onto an Instagram live video. And the two guys on the video wanted me to sing, and I didn't want to. It was like first thing in the morning, and I'm like, yo, I'm not singing. I'm not doing it. And then I got off that call, and then I really sat with it, and I was like, at the moment, and my friend Eric just asked me this question the other day. He's like, what are you obsessed with? I'm like, what am I obsessed with? I'm actually obsessed with doing more things that scare the shit out of me. And because there's so much growth in that. And, you know, when you overcome something like that and you realize, oh, I'm actually okay, I didn't die, you're like, yeah, cool, I can do that more. And it just becomes this thing. And now I actually
100%.
don't have, now I don't even have time to, my ego doesn't have time to come in and be like, yo, you shouldn't do that. I'm just like, done, do it. And same with like when you reached out about the podcast, you know, and this is my first podcast and I'm like, I need to speak more about this kind of stuff because I'm so passionate about it, but it's out of my comfort zone. So yeah, the singing thing was really cool. And I was so surprised about how many people jumped on board and actually did it as well and tagged me in it. I just loved it, everyone.
Just rippled everywhere. I love it.
Yeah, loved it. So yeah, and I feel like social media for, you know, some people is maybe just a place where they scroll and look at other people's lives. Or for me, I find it really like it's a creative expression for me. I love getting creative. I love connecting with people. I love just sharing more fun and joy and whatever that looks like. Like the other day I was juggling lemons and limes with Eric. And so, yeah, it just gets to be fun. And I don't want people to see a version of me on social media and then see me in person and feel like there's two different people. I just want it to be fun.
Fuck, that just hits so hard. Literally the reason it's funny that I named this podcast Real Time with Alex Normandin, like not before, but before I really like, I was living my truth, but like there was a part of me that was like still a pleaser. And it's funny that I named this podcast Real Time with Alex, full transparency, before like I fully like now I fully believe and I fully feel like I'm living in my truth and I'm like saying whatever I want to say. And if someone pisses me off, I'll fucking let them know. If someone's amazing, I'll let them know. If some like, you know what I mean? And I'm so happy that I named this Real Time with Alex Normandin.
Yes,
and now I'm naming this one Real Time with Alex and Mandy. So it's great. That's amazing. So whoever's listening, I want to circle back for a second on the comfort zone thing. I know I literally in my podcast description, I think it's breaking comfort zone. So I want to touch on that. For me, my daily break, I'm actually going to start with this story. The biggest, most impactful thing I've ever done that scared the fuck out of me were probably two things. Number one was skydiving. Skydiving, literally, have you been skydiving before?
Yeah, it was epic.
I don't know what it is. Like, it's cool, people look at it, but it's so, because human beings, believe it or not, believe this or not, are born with two fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. So jumping out of a plane is probably one of the most unnatural motherfucking things you can do. And there I was sitting on the edge at 7 a.m. in Mission Beach, Australia, which is just north of you, I think, ish. And jumping out of a plane. And it was literally the most transformational moment of my entire life. And I'm going to say that with full conviction, probably top 3. I don't know. I haven't calculated. Doesn't matter. Skydive, like literally, it was the most unnatural thing I've ever done in my life. And my life has actually never been the same since skydiving. And that goes to show how powerful doing something that scares the fuck out of you really is. And for myself, on a daily basis, if you've listened or watched me before, you know that I take cold showers every single morning. And usually there's 2 benefits to that for me. One is I look at the knob and I'm like, I don't want to do this. 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 So early in the morning, it trains me to do shit that I don't want to do. And sometimes in life, we have to do shit we don't want to do or we don't like doing. That's my perspective. And number 2, cold showers feel amazing once you get used to it. It wakes your body up and there's heaps of health benefits to it. And it's funny, like I get one message a week and it's like, hey, Alex. I'm like, what? Like, I started taking cold showers and I'm like, yes. And it's like one person a week. I like rant on it. I rant on it all the time. And cold showers in Winnipeg, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, to anyone who's new here. And it gets to minus 40, minus 50, minus 50, like 8 degrees Celsius. And taking a cold shower, waking up and looking outside and there's snow, there's ice, all the cars are crashing into each other because it's so icy. Like, and getting up and turning that dial cold, like it's literally trained me for the last 4 years since I've committed to doing it, to do shit that scares me early in the morning. So
love it.
Whoever's listening, whatever you may want to do that scares you, at least start with one thing. Do one thing every day that scares you. Keep it small, whatever that may be. You don't have to take cold showers. I'm not forcing you to take cold showers. Just think about one thing right now, wherever you are, something that you can do that scares you on a daily basis. Whether that's going on your social media and posting a video if you've never done it before, whether it's telling your story, whatever it may be, whatever's coming up for you right now. If you're listening, go out and share that. Just live in your truth and do something that scares you and just be like, you know what, I'm going to fucking do this. And who gives a shit what other people think? So that's my loving suggestion and invitation. I'm not telling you what to do, but it's impacted both of us. So it's my loving suggestion. Did anything come up for you there?
I love that. Yeah, skydiving's cool. Just wanted to point that out. I had a great time skydiving, but yeah, when you're on the edge, you're like, what
It's
the fuck am I doing?
This is not natural. And then you drop and 5 seconds later, you're like, oh my God, life is so amazing. Ah!
Yeah. And then it's over and you're like, can I do it again?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I did.
Do you have a video of yours?
No, I didn't. No, I
Shit.
didn't get my video. I should have.
It's literally every single person for their first time has like the same reaction. They're like shitting their pants on the edge, not sure what to do. They're looking down like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then they jump and they're like, there's like 5 seconds of pure confusion and like, what the fuck is life? And then it's like pure joy and fulfillment. And I may be speaking for like 90 to 95% of people. Some people pass out and shit. Just kidding. I don't know. But yeah. So literally my video is like, oh, what's happening? And I'm like, I'm like shaking my head. We're like, yeah, pointing at the camera. Like literally I've never felt so alive other than skydiving.
So good. Yeah. And you know, the only other thing I'd mention would be what you said, starting small. Like, you know, you don't have to, like, if there's something that is like, you think of it, it's like a really large scale, you don't have to just dive into that straight away. Like, just my journey of like stepping out of my comfort zone has been, like I said, over probably the last 2 years. So just start small, you know, and also share, like, look at other people and how they're showing up, and if they inspire you, you know, allow that to give you permission to do that. And you know, the singing video, for example, had so many people message me and they're like, how did you come up with the confidence and courage to do that? And I sat with that and I'm like, well, I realized I actually, my worth is not determined in someone else's feeling, like opinions of me. So like me actually putting it out there, I don't actually care what people think. So it's more for me. It's me and my journey. So, you know, if you're doing it to be liked by people and to be accepted, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
100%.
I feel like you need to be stepping out of your comfort zone for yourself and to, you know, see where you can go and, you know, create this life that you're wanting to create. And I just feel like there's so much growth in doing shit that scares you. So start small, and you know, you don't have to share it straight away. The only reason I say share it is because it's such a ripple effect and people just are so attracted to that energy and that positive vibe. Yeah, exactly. So start small, people.
100%. What came up for me there was, I remember someone, I think it was Tim Ferriss, if you guys are familiar with him, he was like, go when you're walking in the street, like just like make eye contact and smile at someone. Like if that's not something that you're used to doing, just go, like when you're shopping or getting gas or whatever it may be, like actually take a breath and look at someone in the eye and smile at them. And even if that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, I'm promoting to do it more. And if it does make you feel uncomfortable, like sometimes, like I notice I'm like, I'm not even looking at any human beings right now. Like, why am I being so selfish? Like, I'm going to look at someone and make them smile or send them good energy. So that's something that I do on it. Like if I notice that, I'll do it. So that's one thing that.
And so simple, right? Like that is so simple. But yeah, I totally get that. I've been on my phone. I'm like, oh, I just like missed like 4 people that I could have like had eye contact with. And don't get me wrong, I've also had eye contact with someone and smiled, and people are like, not okay with that. They're like, what? Like they're so freaked out, but we're just not used to it. And I just feel like, the more we do that, the more we, spread that love and joy even more.
Yeah. You literally never know, to anybody who's like getting a bit of inspiration maybe in this moment to do something, you literally never know. It's the times that I least expect it that someone messages me and like, Alex, this story really impacted me when you shared this. Like, I'm like what? Like I just shared that because it was me in the moment, what I felt. So you literally never know who you might impact. And if you're doing it for yourself, that's great. Like that's a great first step. Like self-development is the best investment, and starting with yourself is a beautiful first step. But just rippled with that, you're going to affect other people and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. So incredible.
That was great. So, all right. To anyone who's, let's say, potentially living half their truth or really like feeling the vibe right now on this YouTube video or on this podcast, what would you say should be there? Not should be. I don't want to shit on anyone. What would you lovingly suggest to somebody who's like, fuck yeah, maybe I should take that step. Maybe who's not living their truth, or maybe living someone else's truth, their parents' truth, or their friend's truth, or society's social norms, or whatever you want to call its truth. What would be your first first baby step for them?
When you're just saying that, I related it back to my passion around youth and mental health. So, the thing I would tell people is like, we all have a story. We've all been through life's challenges, and we've all had an experience that can inspire other people. And I just feel like, for me, and this is my personal experience, but I feel like if we speak more about our own truth and our own journey, whether it's with mental health, whether it's with education, like whatever it can be, you start from that, you start to create this ripple effect, but you also start to create a community. And so it's all the things that we've been talking about. And so your truth is like, it's almost like your truth is at the heart of it, if you wanted to look at it like that. And then everything just expands from there. And, for example, like I think I briefly shared, but through my teenage life, I went through some really challenging times, and, went through ups and downs. And I remember at one point, sitting in front of a counselor, and I basically felt like they just threw a textbook at me and labeled me with experiencing depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts, right? And in that moment, I felt like I was put in the too hard basket. That's what it felt like for me at age 14.
Wow.
And so from that experience, like, it's my passion to want to support youth in a more fun and light and creative way has just expanded and expanded to now I'm at the point where I'm like, how do I do this for my own community and the kids that are living around the corner from me, and how do I be that role model? So yeah, for people that are sitting at home and thinking, well, what's my truth or what's my purpose? I don't particularly believe that a purpose is a thing. I feel like a purpose is always within you. And, this journey, you just get to explore that even more, and you get to, dip your toes in different things and, feel into it. Not everything's going to be for you, but at least you're trying, and at least you're giving it a go. And there's things that I've done, like particular jobs that I've done in the past, and I'm like, I ain't going back to that.
Yeah.
But that experience, amplified that, my purpose of wanting to serve people, but just looks differently now. So just speak your truth to yourself. Like, what is it that lights you up? Like, what is it, something that when you wake up every day that you're like, yes, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and just start somewhere and find that community that's doing that. And because it's within there that you're going to get your people that are going to back you 100%. People are going to get opportunities that are just going to start opening up for you. And, I know there's going to be people that are listening to this and think, well, that's easier said than done. But when you're so committed to living your truth, things just start to open up for you. And there's moments that I sit back and I'm like, oh, like, I'm not actually doing anything right now. But you actually realize you are still creating that impact by just being you in your fullest expression. Yeah. And so, I just feel like it's a journey of trusting yourself. And for, I always say to people, like, I'm also on the journey of falling in love with myself and what it is that my heart wants. And, the people that come along for that journey, I love it. And then the people that are inspired by me to do something else in the world, like go serve, serve people in Peru. I don't know. Peru just came up just because I was looking at a non-for-profit there the other day. But like, there's so many places in the world and there's so many people that we get to impact and change their lives. And so, I even love when people message me and they're like, really love your post. Didn't actually agree with a couple of things that you said, but I'm now inspired to do this project that I've been wanting to do for 2 years. Like, that shit lights me up. And I'm like, yes, because it's within, and it's like you said, everyone's watching. And there's always people that are watching behind the scenes. They might not message you on social media. They might not contact you, but they're watching. And so, speaking your truth and knowing that's not going to resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Yeah. But if you continue to do that, then you're living your purpose. And by that, you're impacting people around you.
Oh, wow. I'm just like, I'm inspired. I just want to shut this off right now and go out there and fucking be myself and dance naked in the street or some shit. No.
Yes, love that.
It's probably a bit too cold right now.
Yeah, probably.
So creating more as a tribe. That's something that I'm focusing on right now, and especially moving back home, even especially during this time of COVID-19. I don't want to dive too much into that. Actually, maybe a little bit in a second. But especially during that, like, I've been making sure to stay in touch with everybody around the world, and whether your friends are close or far, like just create like a small little group, like 3 people or 4 people, and just get on a call, because just the energy that can be created, you never know what state change just chatting with 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends might bring you. And that'll turn into a community, if you want it to, or whatever. But yeah, that's what came up for me there.
Cultivating community. Like I listened to this podcast by a guy called BC Sona. He talks about cultivating community, and that really landed for me because I link that to the youth. Like when I was a teenager girl, I didn't have a community. And
Right.
so now, being 27, I want to cultivate that community that I didn't have. And so if you're sitting at home and you're like, well, yeah, that's all good, but I'm not surrounded by people right now that are positive and high vibe and, loving on the world. Cool. Well, go and create that community. Stop waiting for the people to come to you. Maybe instead you're meant to start creating that and be like, okay, I'm going to start a group, or I'm going to start a project, or I'm going to start, I don't know, just reaching out to people that I'm inspired by that you might not particularly know, and just be like, hey, I really love to connect with you. Like sometimes the connecting part is what people are scared of, but I love it. I love when people message me and say, hey, I would really love to connect with you. And yeah, create a Zoom call, because obviously that's all we can do right now is create a virtual connection. But I think there's so much power in that as well, connecting people from all around the world on Zoom, and just, people still feel connected. And I just feel like the cultivating community part is really important, because we are actually meant to create that. We are meant to get those people involved and inspire people. And then, like we've been saying, it's just a ripple effect from there.
Right. Totally agree with that. So one recommendation, if you're really vibing with this right now, I would lovingly suggest to you, one thing that's at least worked for me was literally just document your journey, your process. You had a really shitty day, just tell people I've had a shitty day. This is what happened. Like, people are more interested in you than you think, and they're paying attention whether you know it or not. And usually people, they see me on social media and they're like, wow, you're so positive, all this. And recently I've been sharing my challenges as well, and people are getting back to me. They're like, hey, Alex, I really appreciate you like sharing like when you fuck up. Like, I had a massive fuck up the other week on one of my podcasts, like huge, wasted the guy's time, and I like just owned up to it. And people are like literally messages, and I'm like, they're like, Alex, like, thank you for saying this. Like, you're posting all this stuff, everything you're doing and accomplishing that. Like, I almost felt bad about myself. I'm like, fuck. Like, I need to start sharing my failures too. And it's just incredible. So now I'm so committed to just documenting the amazing things, the challenging things, the failures. Like I had the most challenging week the last week, and I'm telling people, and like, no one's perfect, and perfection, in my opinion, is the lowest standard a human being can have. Like you mentioned earlier, in a way. Don't get me wrong, I have very high standards, and I'm sure you have very high standards for yourself as well. But perfection, it's not a fulfilling focus. And it's actually, in my opinion, it's impossible. You can't be perfect in everything you do. You will fail at one thing in your life. So instead of aiming for perfection, just aim for a high standard. Have your values for life, have your focuses, but try and avoid that perfection.
And just like let go of expectation of what like it needs to look like. I think I mentioned that before. And like you said, the fuck ups like that. I love listening to people and their stories around fucking up, because I'm like, yeah, cool. We're all human. And, even in the projects that I've done and like the volunteering stuff I've done, like there's been things that I've wanted to do, like ideas. I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. I'm going to create that. And my brain all day, every day is like got ideas coming through. Like sometimes
She's
it's really
generator,
overwhelming.
ladies and gentlemen. You need energy, go to her Instagram.
Yeah, go. But then some of them haven't worked out. Some of them just, and I've had my heart set on something. And when I had my heart set on something, I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. And I get steered in a different direction. And, now I've just become more comfortable with like, okay, cool. When something comes through, or I want to create something, just let it sort of unfold how it's meant to. Still do the things you're meant to be doing, showing up and taking action. but let go of what it needs to look like. And, you know, for me, like this youth hub right now is my project, and I've been sort of creating the foundation for that during this time of being in quarantine. And, you know, I sometimes catch myself being like, oh, it's going to look this way, or where will it be, or how will it, you know, how will it look like? And I'm like, actually, I don't need it to know all that. So just, I think we sometimes get caught up in it, and I definitely do, like my personal experience. And the more, actually, what I found, the more I get caught up in what it's looking like, the more it doesn't actually succeed, because I'm missing the opportunities, or maybe I'm meant to connect with some person, or maybe I'm meant to go to that event, or, you know, travel over to this place. So I would just say that's been on my journey as well. And now I'm just sort of letting go and seeing what comes.
Fuck yeah. I love that. Two things came up there, maybe three. So I mentioned this on my last episode, but I'll mention it again. Trade your expectations for appreciation. This is credited to Tony Robbins, of course. I'm a massive fan. Do I want to say that word? Supporter? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. Trade your expectations for appreciation, and you'll watch what changes. Because in my opinion, all suffering comes from expectations unfulfilled. And I've learned just to appreciate shit. Like if I fuck up, I appreciate it. If for example, the biggest story that I can share is my past relationship. And I plan to have children with this woman. I plan to get married. I plan to live in Norway. I plan to learn. I planned all this stuff. I expected all this stuff. And when that got fucking blown up, I was like, damn. But I asked myself one question, and the question was this: what's the opportunity here? And I'm like, I need to appreciate where I'm at, and I need to make the most out of this moment. And I could easily still be depressed or sad or living in that, but I let it go, and it allowed it was a massive blockage in my energy, but I needed to feel all the emotions. Another tip is feel all the emotions. Never avoid an emotion. You're not a bad person because you feel sadness. You're not a bad person because you might get angry for 10 seconds or 2 minutes. Everyone gets angry at times. Everyone gets sad. No one's happy 24/7. It's the human way. Like we're meant to feel, and we're not. So trade your expectations for appreciation, and you'll watch your perspective changes. And I encourage you lovingly to ask yourself that question. It's funny because I'm looking at you, but I'm talking to like just the people listening. So it's like got a bit of a weird feeling there. And I lost my thought. No, I encourage you to ask the question, what's the opportunity here? In your failures, I always ask myself, what's the opportunity here? And the better the question, the better the answer. And I've noticed that questions in my life have really, really, really impacted me. And whatever that question may be for you, what's the opportunity here? I always ask myself that anytime I fail, anytime I'm stressed or mad or crying, I'm saying, what's the opportunity here? Like, what am I feeling? And what can I learn from this instead of just expecting all this in life?
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I actually had very similar experience to you within the relationship. And, you know, for me, I just wanted to pursue my heart and pursue my purpose. And that was leading me in a different direction. And, you know, I know a lot of people can relate to this. And I think it comes with a deeper level of trust for yourself. And the same as what you've just said, like, what's the opportunity here? And just trusting yourself in that. Because, you know, when we do let go of something, and something that maybe we thought was for us in that time but no longer served us, we just open ourselves up to so many other opportunities in life. And yes, in the moment it hurts and it sucks and you go through a wave of emotion, but if you can trust yourself and if you can love yourself in that moment and know that you are being led exactly where you need to be, then you are just you're opening up so many other doors. So I really love that. And and, you know, when you're on this journey of just, you know, pursuing your heart, and for me, pursuing my purpose, it's like sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah. Like, let's be real. Like, I have moments like this, and sometimes they're daily, sometimes they're not. And what you've just said about asking what's the opportunity, I feel like that opens us up for a conversation with ourselves. You know, I feel like I've searched externally for a lot of things in my life up until I sort of started this journey. But now when I'm in these moments, you know, first thing I do is go within. Like, I ask myself, like, what is it? What's here for me? Like, what do I need to learn? because we have all the answers within ourselves, whether we want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then we get to reach out to our community and the people that love us. But I really encourage people to just sit with themselves, whether you journal, whether you meditate, whatever you do, to create that space. Because the only reason I feel, in my experience, that I've searched externally in times for answers or for advice or whatever it is because I haven't trusted myself enough to just make the decision. And and you know, those moments I have made, those really big decisions, I have experienced so much more abundance and opportunity from that. And so it's just been such a huge learning curve for me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. What's coming up for me and what I really feel like sharing is, again, to anybody listening, I would never tell you to do something, or not. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I've never encouraged or suggest you do something if it hasn't worked for me or it hasn't benefited me. And the biggest thing over the last year is just learning to let go of expectations of your maybe past expectations. I think is the biggest thing. And I've never felt so, like, hand on my heart, I've never felt so free in my life until I truly let go of, number one, like negativity, like negative people. I know people say that, like, don't go near negative people, but like as much as possible, like avoid negativity. And whether that be through, I love social media. I don't go on there and like go on Twitter and complain and get in arguments. All the people I follow, like, I love following them. I look at them and, like, if they don't light me up, or if like I'm not their friend or whatever, like I don't spend my time or my energy on them. So let go of anything that isn't serving you. And I encourage you lovingly right now to think about something. What's something that's not serving you right now that you can let go of? One thing. What's one thing in your life that you can let go of right now that would increase your energy, or increase, just get rid of any blockages in your life? Because as soon as I let go of that last year, any blockages into letting go and living in my truth, like, shit just fucking comes. And whether you believe in the universe or God or infinite intelligence or whatever it may be, like, I believe in the universe, like an energy, and the universe happens for you, not to you, and victim versus victor mentality. But as soon as I let go of those expectations, and I let go of just let go, like, just let go of that's just period. Let go, period. Right now, so much shit has just come into my life, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying right now, like, let it go. Whatever it may be, whatever it's coming up for you right now, listening or watching this, just let it go.
It's like that song off Frozen, you know, let it go.
Yeah, I would sing. I could be the bass. Let it go. Are we gonna sing? No, we're not gonna sing.
Okay, we're not gonna sing. All right.
Maybe part 2.
Yeah. I think just letting go of control, totally.
Yeah.
And you know, and also just like it takes like it's a practice. It's not like you've just got it overnight. I'm like constantly like calling myself forward and catching stuff that I say. And so I just, you know, just don't overthink it. I think just be on the journey and just keep living your truth, and just keep pulling yourself forward into greatness. And sometimes you do fuck up and sometimes you're thriving. It's the balance of both. So
I'm totally gonna switch gears here for a second.
Yeah, do it.
Isolation, quarantine, whether you believe it's gonna end soon or not, doesn't matter. What's working for you? What have you been enjoying that you would love to share?
So my morning rituals are probably the one thing that's like kept me sane throughout the whole experience. I switch it up, doing yoga, meditation, journaling, all different types of things. But do you know what? Like last night we had a virtual dance party within our community. So we just there was about 50 people on a Zoom call, and like we just danced and shaked our bodies, and that was so much fun. And in that moment I was like, I just want to have more fun. And so at the beginning of this whole quarantine, I was a little bit like, I don't want to be involved in anything on social media. I want to have my eyes closed. And then I realized that actually I get to choose how I respond to this and what's my truth. And like I've been saying, this doesn't relate to everyone, but the one thing has been like, keep connected with my community, the people that I love, the people that are still, you know, at that vibration of like, this is going to be great. We're learning so much from this. There's so much beauty coming from, you know, this experience. And then just going within, like I've really taken the opportunity to just slow down, which is really hard for me.
Yeah.
To slow down.
Oh, I get it. I get it. We're the same in that way. We wake up with heaps of energy mostly every day.
Yeah. Some of my roommates are like, yo, it's too early. Can you not? And I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. What are we creating? So yeah, slowing down and going within and like, same thing. What have I got to learn from this experience? So yeah, that combined with the morning rituals and just having fun has been what's got me through this. And it looks different for everyone. What's been
100%.
yours? I'm interested.
So as a manifesting generator, meaning I'm creating and constantly having a bunch of energy and weird hunches that I need to write down in the moment. For me, it's been challenging. I'm in an apartment. I'm not in a house. So, and the weather in Winnipeg recently just warmed up. So yeah, the biggest thing for me, I've actually had a challenging last 7 to 10 days. From going to the gym like 5-6 days a week and releasing my energy like that, and having, different businesses and other work. What's been working for me? I've just been releasing my energy in whatever feels right in the moment. I'm learning guitar right now and I'm keeping the guitar out so I can pick it up at any time. And I think the biggest thing for me is just like, doing what I feel in the moment. I haven't been judging myself. I know a lot of people out there like, it's quarantine, it's isolation, get your fucking goals done, all this shit. Like I'm all about action and getting shit done. But like, it's okay to do nothing at times.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting you to be lazy and eat a whole bag of chips and a whole tub of ice cream, which I might do once a month, by the way, on my Zag days. But it's just doing. At least this is what works for me. Doing what I feel in the moment, whether that's dropping down and doing 20 push-ups and grunting and screaming, whether that's jumping on my rebounder / trampoline in my apartment, whether that's fasting and just listening to nature sounds all day and just writing down my thoughts. Like, my top recommendation right now, just do what you feel in the moment. Don't force, like, there's a lot of free courses online and all that stuff. If you don't feel aligned or called to do that thing, don't do that thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do what feels right to you. And yeah, I've like, hand on my heart, I've never felt so fucking free in my life, and I'm in isolation. I don't get it. I don't understand. I've never felt so free in my life, but I'm in isolation or quarantine.
Love it.
That's it. So is there anything else you would like to share?
Like, I honestly could talk about this kind of stuff all day, every day, but not everyone's going to want to listen to a 3-hour-long podcast. So, no, I just think for the people that, because I really do feel for the people that are living maybe not with anyone at the moment, they're by themselves. And, I actually have quite a few people reach out to me and they're like, yes, you've got, friends to talk to, but I don't. And, I feel quite alone and isolated in this time. And so I really do have compassion for those people. And, the one thing I would say is like, what's the opportunity there? Maybe we are meant to be alone. I've got friends that are like, why aren't I with my friends right now? Yeah. But they're meant to be alone. So it's like, there's an opportunity there to go within and there's an opportunity in everything. So I just, for those people who are probably like, all good for you. You've got a community to live with. I feel them. I feel you, and also know that there's something there for you. And just I always encourage journaling. It's been like, I started off being like, how do I journal? Do you diary? Kind of thing.
I don't have my journal with me right now. I can run and get it, but it'll take too long. But like, I've had that question so much. Like, how do you journal? And like, when I first started, I'm like, so like, what do I write down? Like, but don't think, like, literally the whole point, like for me, it's word vomit. Like, I have 2 types of journaling. Most of the time it's just like releasing any bullshit that's in my head that I just need to release so I have more clarity inside my brain. But another one is like, write down what you're grateful for, write down your goals and your visions and that. So it's, for me, it's 2 things when it comes to journaling. Non-judgmental word vomit. Don't think, just write whatever's on your head. Like, and in the next podcast, I'll give you an example. And number 2 is write down, of course, what you're grateful for and what you're excited for, or just document what's happening. Like, for me, I'm going to look back on my journal in this time and we're going through a global pandemic, and I'm going to be like showing my my grandchildren my journal, and that excites me. Like, so I journal for different reasons, but the number one thing I would suggest is don't overthink it. It's a journal, right?
Yeah.
Make it whatever you want. For me, I love word vomiting because it makes me feel great, and I love releasing. For you, it might be just documenting, or it might just be writing down what you're grateful for. And you don't have to journal for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Like, some days I journal for 2 minutes, some days I journal for 5, some days I journal for an hour, some days I journal for 30. Like, do what you feel in the moment. That's my top suggestion.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, and sometimes I'm drawing in my journal. Like, I scribble.
That makes one of us. I'm the worst drawer. Oh, I just did that as my identity. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, no. All I was going to say is sometimes I draw. So yeah, just same thing we've been talking about, letting go of what it needs to look like. And for me personally, journaling is like an opportunity for, like, if I have an idea or if something's come up for me, then I get to have that conversation with myself, and, you know, releasing it and putting on paper allows me to move through that and express that, and then it's sort of done, you know. So but then I also use movement and dancing to do that too. So you can get creative, like whatever it is that serves you. You know, you don't need to be looking on social media and be like, oh, I need to be doing what they're doing. Like, you know, be true to yourself and ask yourself the question, like, what is actually for me? Like, what's going to serve me in this moment? Maybe I don't want to meditate for 30 minutes. Yeah, cool. You don't have to meditate for 30 minutes. I meditate for 30 minutes, but you might want to sit on the grass and have a cacao. Like, I don't know. It's different for everyone. So you're like, yeah, I love cacao, man.
And I just popped my cacao cherry. Shout out to Eric Bergen for popping my cherry. It was amazing. Cacao is awesome. If you're feeling like you want to ground and connect more with Mother Earth, definitely grab yourself some cacao. Her suggestion was fly cacao. Is that FLY?
Yes, I believe so. I actually don't know.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, or just correct me if I'm wrong, but ceremonial cacao.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I haven't. It's the most fulfilling thing ever, and I'm just. This is a total tangent here, but give me a second. I was literally stirring. I told you this earlier. I was stirring. To anyone listening, I was stirring. A lot of energy inside me right now. I've been fasting a while. This just broke my fast. Yeah. Anyways, I was stirring my cacao probably about 45 minutes ago, and I was literally looking at it and just saying, I'm going to be serious here because this is like actually like it was beautiful. I was stirring my cacao and making it over the stove, and I was just looking at it and just saying, I love you, thank you. I love you, thank you. And just really feeling that deep inside my body and really connecting with Mother Earth, because it just feels amazing. To anyone listening, grab yourself some cacao. And really, do you have any tips for that? Because I'm still a virgin. I'm just giving you like virgin excitement right now, but what would be your cacao
suggestions?
Suggestions.
For me, like, when I have a cacao, I usually either, if I can go outside and connect with nature, I will. If I can't, I will like listen to, there's like playlists and stuff you can listen to on Spotify, cacao playlist. But I always set an intention. So I always set an intention with the cacao and infuse it into it. So you know, if that is that I want to connect more with myself, or connect with like a loved one, or just, you know, embody something for the day, like just really set that. And also just connect with Mother Earth. Like, I find it very beautiful, and I love cacao. I went through a phase where I was having it a lot, and I like then stopped for a bit. But yeah, there's also like, you know, this is the whole point what we've been talking about. Like, if cacao is something that you want to dive into and it's something you feel called to do, then reach out and look for people that are doing it. There's so many online cacao ceremonies that people are running. You know, I have friends that are running some, or like YouTube, like, just, we have so many resources. And I said this on my whole project with the library, like, we are so blessed with the resources and connections that we have. So use them, like, get creative. And so that was a bit of a tangent, but just with cacao, beautiful, like, set an intention and just connect with yourself.
And to anyone in a cold, potentially a place where it might be more difficult to ground, whether it's winter, like for me in Winnipeg, it's very cold and I can't necessarily go jump in the ocean. There's not really an ocean near me. And I can't walk on grass. So for me, going through this winter, like, this is my first winter back in Canada in 4 years. And from living in Sydney, Australia for 3 years on the beach, to coming back to living in the middle of Canada, it's flat and there's no ocean anywhere near me. I struggled through. It was a challenge through this winter. There was no sunlight. I couldn't ground, and I really felt disconnected. And the other day, I had my first cacao ceremony, and it grounded me the same way as walking on grass would, or like touching a tree or jumping in the ocean would. Like I was very surprised, and I heard about it, and it came to me at the right time. So if you're feeling called to go out there and have a cacao ceremony, if that sounds right to you, look into it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I'm never going to tell you what to do, like I said a million times. But anyways, yeah, like if you want to feel like you ground more and you don't have anything near you like an ocean or grass or nature, definitely pick up some cacao and yeah, go on YouTube and cacao ceremony or Spotify or whatever it may be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, love the cacao. Yeah, and we just had one. We had a cacao ceremony the other day, actually, and you know what? And the one thing I do say to people is that it can always change. Your intention can always change. Like, so sometimes, like, you might be sitting there being like, I just want to drop into my heart, and then other times you might just be like, I am so frustrated today. Like sometimes I just want to, like you said, ground, but also just maybe clear anything that's, you know, not serving me. So yeah, just get creative with it, and with anything, whether it's that or meditation or yoga, dance, whatever it is, just get creative.
Yeah. So what I learned from this episode is be yourself, live in your truth, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But actually, just listening to this podcast, just think about, again, one thing you might take away from it, or one action step you might have drawn from this episode, whether that is cacao, whether that's living in your truth, whether that's doing something that's scaring the fuck out of you. I always like to keep it simple. Like I am a lazy person, so I like to keep my processes as simple as possible. And the less friction I have towards something, the more likely I am to do it. Like for example, I want more essential oils when I go to bed. I want my diffuser going with lavender when I go to sleep. So literally, I'm not going to turn. Actually, I'm going to try and turn the camera just to literally just show it. So over here,
yes, love it.
Don't mind the messy bed here. But literally, I keep everything there. I keep my essential oils, my rock salt lamp, and my alarm clock face down because light is not good when you sleep. So keep whatever you want to do visible in your life. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Simple.
I have nothing left to chat about. I'm just excited to go out there and just live right now. So thank you so much, Mandy, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope you enjoyed your first podcast. It's the first of many. This girl is an absolute goddess. She's an absolute weapon, whatever weapon she wants to be. And where can they find you?
Just find me on Instagram would probably be the best place. So I think they say Instagram handle. Is that what people?
Yep. If you're watching this on YouTube, click that little button. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, click that button and I'll put it there. All right, Mandy, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you. I honor you. I acknowledge you. And you are an amazing human being. And this is the beginning of our connection and friendship. And I can't wait to just,
Thank you so much. It was such an honor. Thank you.
Of course. All right. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.